triskaidekaphobia, didascalinophobia, equinophobia, sheophobia. These are all fears that are irrational, but just because they're irrational doesn't mean they're not real. And I'd like to share my own fear, glossophobia, the fear of public speaking. Comedy Jerry Seinfeld once said that if you were to go to a funeral, you'd rather be the one in the casket than the one telling the speech. And I am one of those people. I've always feared that I'd be judged for my thoughts and opinions, and I especially feared that my friends would be the ones judging me. And this fear, to me, is really silly. I really think this fear is silly, but I'm still scared. And this silly fear has come in between me having some fun times. I've missed so many fun opportunities, and I regret it. For example, in 5th grade, it was the last day of school, a day to have fun. And there was a huge bounce house in the gymnasium. I had no idea how they got it in there, but I didn't care. I wanted to get in there and have fun. At first, I was afraid I might fall in, but I realized there were walls, so I went in line. And people got into groups of 5. As 5 went out, 5 would go in. And just when I was about to get in, as my group was about to get into the bounce house, I changed my mind. I was too afraid to go in. I was afraid that I would fall, and I'd fall into a weird position where my head was twisted around my leg and my arms were flailing or something like that. And then my friends would laugh at me. And I didn't want that, especially since my crush was in my group. So I didn't go in, and I regret it. I really wish I had gone in. My fear really affected my confidence, and I became really shy. But later on, I found out that I spoke much more confidently when I was in front of my friends, because they know who I am. And if I made one little mistake, they aren't going to judge as much. But it's a much bigger deal when it's in front of strangers, all of you, well, most of you. Because this is going to be my first impression on some of you. And it may be my first and last time I can ever talk to any of you. And it's terrifying because I want to make a good impression. It's all about making a good impression. We've always been told to fit this social standard where you say this and do that in a certain way. And if you don't, you're not normal. You don't fit in. And that's where I think most of my fear comes from the fear of rejection and not fitting in. When I was younger, I was bullied and told that how I said something or the way I thought was wrong and to think this way. And when I was at home, I was forced to practice and believe a certain religion without being allowed to question if I could live my life a different way. And then when it came to the time where I was asked personally what I thought of something, I didn't know what to answer. I would say, I don't know, because I was always told what to say, told what to do. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I was never encouraged to express my own thoughts, express my own opinions. And that really affected my confidence, and it pushed my fear even further. But now, every chance I get, I take it. For example, the truth talks. At first, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to nail this talk. And then when it came to the auditions, right before, I started freaking out. I knew I would forget everything I was supposed to say, all my main points that I knew would get me the spot. And I did. I forgot most of it. But I still got some points through. I was so terrified the whole entire time. And I would stutter and I was shaking on the inside, even though it may not look like it. I feel like I'm shaking right now. And afterwards, when I found out that I would be speaking, I was excited, but also terrified. And I mentally slapped myself. Because I knew I would forget, just like it did for the auditions. And when it came to making the speech, I got even more terrified because I had no idea what to say. But I got friends from my teachers and a few friends, and I got through it, and I made my speech. And I don't want to have this fear anymore. I want to gain my confidence again. I'm not going to run off the stage crying, which I feel like doing. I want to gain my confidence. I want to get rid of this fear. I want to get the chance to go on a bounce house, which I still haven't done. There's so many things I want to do, and I don't want my fear coming in the way of that. And just recently, my friend told me that there's nothing to fear. Yeah, sure, they might judge, but that's not going to do anything to you. You got to be confident. And now I'm going to keep that with me.